Hello. If you're watching this video and if you're in the nonprofit sector, you probably already know that grant applications are essential for the growth and sustainability of any nonprofit organization. It doesn't matter if you're a startup nonprofit or well-established nonprofit organization, even global nonprofit organization, they all rely on different funding channels, and one of the biggest and most popular funding channels is grants. Government grants, private sector grants, foundational grants, grants in summary. So there are some basic steps in grant applications. People usually focus on the grant writing, which is one of the phases, but not the only one. So there are 5 stages that you need to keep in mind. The first step is grant research. You don't start with an idea. You don't find a grant for your brilliant idea. You start with the grant and develop a brilliant idea for the grant. So first step is grant research, and this is a continuous process because probably you will need more than one grant to ensure you have enough financial resources for your nonprofit organization. So after grant research, the second phase is idea development. Now you can come up with some ideas, but make sure that your ideas are perfectly aligned with the objectives of the grant. Again, I cannot emphasize enough, you don't find a grant for your project. You develop a project for an existing grant opportunity. If you are lucky, there is a perfect alignment, but usually it is not the case. So as a nonprofit leader or as the person who's responsible for grant applications, you need to make sure that you write something that complies with the objectives of the grant. So the second phase is idea development. You develop an idea that matches with the objectives of the grant. The third phase is project planning. Before you start writing, you need to do financial planning, operational planning, risk planning, partnership planning, capacity building planning, resource planning, all kinds of planning that will help you to predict or do the feasibility analysis of your idea, whether it is feasible, whether it is doable or realistic and impactful. So the third stage is project planning. And once everything is set, ready, then you can go to the next step, which is grant writing. And as you may already know, each of the grants may have different writing requirements. Some of them have standard forms, some of them are more flexible, some of them have strict rules, that there are some certain sections with limited number of words that you need to fill out, and some of them, they don't have any limits. They allow you to write whatever you want. Whatever the format of the grant is, you need to write something accordingly. Okay, so the fourth stage in grant applications is grant writing. And you need to make sure that it reflects your project. It highlights the alignment between the grant objectives and your suggested project outcomes. And finally, the last stage, which is quite important, as important as the other four stages, is the grant application itself. So it's rarely only the application form. You need to put together a set of documents like your financial statements, your letter of support, your other documents that proves your operational and financial capacity. You need to make sure the bundle includes every single document that is necessary for the grant application. Of course, there are some other factors like operational capacity, financial capacity, or partnership capacity that will affect your success rate. But if you follow those 5 steps, then you may increase your chances to get awarded. So let me summarize and wrap up. Grant writing or grant applications in the nonprofit sector has 5 stages: grant research, idea development, project planning, grant writing, and finally grant application. I hope you find it helpful.